The grand military parade has ended, but its aftershocks are still reverberating. In fact, the side stories are proving even hotter than the display of might itself. From rumors of Wen Jiabao shedding tears atop Tiananmen, to the unusual jacket Xi Jinping wore during the parade, to the controversial seating of Zhang Youxia, every detail has sparked a storm of speculation. Behind those seemingly innocuous photos, behind each trivial-looking detail, lie political undercurrents. The stark contrast between the relaxed smiles of the party elders and the grim face of the man holding supreme power. This weekend, join me as we decode the hidden signals and strange anomalies concealed within what was supposed to be a straightforward show of strength. If you find this content useful and engaging, don't forget to hit like to show your support and subscribe so you won't miss the latest analyses. Thank you. Wen Jiabao crying on Tiananmen Gate? First, let's talk about an incident that has been dubbed Wen Jiabao crying uncontrollably. We all know that this time, the collective appearance of retired CCP elders at Tiananmen was a highlight that drew outside observers' attention. Over the past 2 days, rumors spread that Wen Jiabao, believed by some to still wield influence over the CCP's policy coordination, had shown up at Tiananmen. Since Hu Jintao did not attend, Wen Jiabao quickly became the center of attention. After the parade ended, a photo allegedly showing Wen Jiabao in tears atop Tiananmen Gate spread like wildfire across social media. Another image, even more viral, showed a cute little girl, about 2 or 3 years old, holding a tissue as if to wipe Wen Jiabao's tears on the TV screen. That picture of the girl was certainly real, likely staged by her parents for fun. Yet unexpectedly, it became the spark behind the rumor of Wen Jiabao sobbing. The parents, charmed by their daughter's innocent act, had no idea that once uploaded, the photo would ignite such a frenzy. Many interpreted it as proof that Wen Jiabao was clear-headed and deeply concerned. Why would he cry? Some said it was because, while the crowd rejoiced and cheered for the parade, he alone mourned the party's and the nation's future. Others claimed he wept for the fate of the Chinese people. Still others speculated that perhaps Wen overheard something in a conversation between Xi Jinping, Putin, and Kim Jong-un, something unfavorable for China, that left him so distraught he could not hold back his tears. There were even theories that Wen cried because he saw Xi Jinping monopolizing power, while he himself was powerless to change the course of events. In short, interpretations abounded. But the truth may be far simpler. If you only looked at the still photo, you'd think Wen was crying. But if you watch the live broadcast, the reality is entirely different. Wen was not crying at all. On the contrary, he seemed at ease, even smiling. Because of his age, his face naturally wrinkles when he smiles, and the glare of the sun might have made him squint, giving the false impression of tears. Look closely, and you'll see he wasn't crying. He was smiling. It was that single frozen frame that deceived so many. In fact, during this appearance, not only Wen Jiabao but also Wang Yang and Wang Qishan looked relaxed and smiling. Wang Yang carried himself calmly, almost as if everything was under control. Wang Qishan looked positively radiant, smiling more freely than anyone else. Even Zheng Qinghong, once harshly suppressed by Xi Jinping, appeared serene and smiling. Notice the striking contrast. The party elders, many of whom had been the targets of Xi's purges, looked carefree, at ease, and smiling. Meanwhile, Xi Jinping, the man with ultimate power, carried a heavy, somber expression throughout the entire parade. Xi Jinping's unusual outfit at the military parade. Next, let's turn to Xi Jinping's attire during the parade, the Zhongshan suit. What Xi wore this time was not quite the same as before. According to CCP tradition, when the party leader presides over a military parade, he does not wear a military uniform, but instead dons a Zhongshan suit in a very dark color. The suit is meant to look formal and solemn, with a hint of military green. Why? It carries 2 symbolic meanings. One, the Zhongshan suit represents the party, underscoring the principle that the party commands the military, just as in Mao Zedong's era. 2. The touch of military green signifies the leader's position as chairman of the Central Military Commission, CMC, since the parade is reviewed in that capacity. For this reason, whenever a CCP leader inspects the troops or poses for an official group photo, He always wears a Zhongshan suit with a military green undertone. Since the Cultural Revolution, beginning with Deng Xiaoping, every leader, including Jiang Zemin, Hu Jintao, and even Xi himself in 2015 and 2019, has followed this rule, wearing dark Zhongshan suits tinged with military green at parades. But this year Xi's outfit stood out. He wore a light gray suit. Some have argued that the color may have looked different because of cameras, lighting, or whether he was standing in sunlight or shade. Yet, commentator Tang Jingyuan reviewed high-resolution official photos of Xi alongside images of past leaders from Jiang Zemin onward. The comparison was striking. The collection includes 6 images: Jiang in 1999, Hu in 2009, Xi in 2015 and 2019, and 2 from this year's parade. The difference is hard to miss. From a distance, the contrast is even sharper. Past leaders all wore dark shades with a military green hue, while this time, Xi appeared in a pure light gray suit. By party convention, the chairman of the CMC should wear a dark gray or charcoal suit with a greenish undertone. A rule dating back to Mao and Deng, meant to symbolize the party leader's authority as military chief, and to reinforce the slogan, "The party commands the gun." Xi's choice of a pale gray suit without any military green tone could signal something deeper. Perhaps he no longer holds real control over the military, serving only as CMC chairman in name, not in fact. Consider this. If Xi was unable to appoint a full general from a regular military command as parade commander and had to settle for a deputy-level lieutenant general like Han Shengyan, then even his outfit might not have been his own decision, but chosen for him by others. Of course, some will dismiss this as reading too much into appearances. Many may feel Xi's suit was dark enough, even with a slight military tint. But taken together with all the other unusual signs, there seem to be far too many coincidences and anomalies in this parade to chalk it all up to chance. What once was normal now looks unusual, while anomalies seem to have become the new normal. In any case, these observations and interpretations are offered for reference only. Zhang Youxia's special seating arrangement. According to overseas scholar Wu Zuolai, citing a source allegedly from within Zhongmenhai, Zhang Youxia's placement during the parade was highly significant. On Tiananmen Gate, Zhang stood right next to Zhang Gaoli, a retired Politburo Standing Committee member at the Zhenguo national rank. This positioning suggests that Zhang Youxia, though technically holding only a vice-national rank, had effectively been elevated to the same status as a full national leader. If and when he retires, he would enjoy the same privileges as leaders of that level. Rumor has it that this arrangement was orchestrated by party elders such as Wen Jiabao, who are said to still influence central decision-making to ensure the parade ran smoothly. The implication is that the person who truly held authority over the parade was none other than Zhang Youxia. The same source further claimed that the party's internal affairs are currently managed by Kai Qi, effectively acting as executive deputy general secretary. The government is run by Li Qiang, and the military is in Zhang Youxia's hands. In other words, the party, the state, and the military are now in a relatively decentralized state, each operating at the Zhenguo rank. It was for this reason, the source said, that Zhang Youxia appeared in the same frame as the top-level leaders. Reportedly, Zhang was initially unwilling to cooperate. When Xi Jinping traveled to Shaanxi to commemorate the 100 Regiment's offensive, he went alone, while Zhang Youxia accompanied Cai Qi to Beijing's Lugo Bridge for the July 7th incident commemoration, a sign of their rift becoming public. Later, however, Zheng Qinghong mediated by negotiating directly with Lu Yuan, representing Zhang Youxia. The aim was to persuade Zhang to cooperate in staging this parade performance. Lu Yuan laid down several conditions. The military would assign Zhang Shengdan, head of the Military Discipline Inspection Commission, to accompany Xi on an inspection trip to Tibet, mainly as a symbolic gesture. The military would agree to cooperate in completing the parade and, for the time being, maintain propaganda that still portrays Xi as the party's core, holding all 3 top positions. During the parade, Zhang Youxia had to appear alongside the full Zhenguo rank leaders. Xi Jinping must respect Zhang's authority over the military. The army must remain independent, with the supreme leader forbidden from arbitrary interference, particularly in inserting personal loyalists. Commentator Tang Jingyuan noted that this rumored division of power, with party, government, and military authority split, might exist temporarily as a transitional arrangement during extraordinary circumstances. But such a mechanism cannot be sustainable. It contradicts the CCP's core system of one-man dominance. From the top of the party down to local leadership, the CCP operates under a first-in-command model. Without control of the military, a leader's power is hollow, policies cannot move beyond Zhongnanhai, and even the risk of mutiny looms. The allure of absolute power at the pinnacle of the CCP is too great. Anyone with control over the military will inevitably harbor ambitions of their own. That is why power struggles at the very top rarely cease, especially in today's climate of internal and external crises. In recent years, the relationship between Zhang Youxia and Xi Jinping has shifted from close alliance to sharp confrontation. Their widening split has become a focus of speculation. Some rumors even suggest that at the Beidai conference, Zhang pressed for Xi to step down as General Secretary and CMC Chairman at the upcoming Fourth Plenum. Could it be that the two men, once bound by long-standing family ties, have now reached the point of complete split? It all began after the CCP's 20th Party Congress, when Xi Jinping launched an anti-corruption campaign in the military, triggering a massive purge within the rocket force and the equipment department. Many of Zhang Youxia's allies, including Li Shangfu, were brought down. Xi used the banner of anti-corruption as a ruthless tool to eliminate political rivals, striking hard and without mercy. This left Zhang feeling increasingly unsafe. From that point, cracks began to form in their relationship. During this period, Zhang appeared anxious, attending meetings with extreme caution. Official media reports even listed He Weidong, the second vice-chairman of the CMC, ahead of Zhang, the first vice-chairman. However, after the third plenum in July, the situation suddenly shifted. Rumors spread online that Xi Jinping had fallen ill during the session, while Zhang Youxia, with the backing of party elders and the second Red Generation, had taken control of the military. Since then, more and more signs have emerged that Xi's grip on both military and party affairs is being challenged, and those signs have only grown clearer. On August 29, 2024, U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan visited Beijing and met directly with Zhang Youxia, a meeting that surprised many observers. According to Associated Press video, Zhang told Sullivan, "It was you who requested to meet me, which shows your great concern for military security and relations between our two armies." This made clear that the initiative for the meeting came from Sullivan himself. Notably, foreign media photos from the encounter showed Zhang brimming with energy, smiling broadly. Another striking scene unfolded at the closing session of China's National People's Congress this year. As Xi Jinping exited the hall, He Weidong and other officials turned to see him off. Only Zhang Youxia kept his back to Xi, never once turning his head, showing no reaction even as Xi passed directly behind him. Zhang's coldness and distance sent a powerful political signal, underlining that the military leadership is now embroiled in fierce infighting and a restructuring of power. What do you think of these developments? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you, and see you next time.